You're standing in a store and you open the fridge and grab your favorite drink. Maybe it's an energy drink, maybe a soda, maybe a sparkling water. You glance at the can or bottle in your hand and a thought pops up. What if I made something like this myself? My own drink, my own brand, sitting in a fridge like this one. And then, almost instantly, the thought fades. It's not that making your own drink is impossible. Real people start their own drink brands all the time. It fades because you don't actually know what the first step would be. You don't know who creates the recipe. You don't know where drinks are even made. You don't know what to type into Google, or who you'd email first, or how much money it would take, or how a drink gets from an idea into a store, or what tends to go wrong along the way. There's no clear, step-by-step plan to follow anywhere. So you just buy your drink, walk out, and forget the whole idea. This is where almost everyone stops, and it isn't only about drinks. Lots of people get some kind of idea at some point. For you, it might be a drink. For someone else, it's a clothing brand, a little store, a crypto project, some product, an app. The ideas are everywhere, but most of them die in the exact same spot, on the exact same question: what do I actually do next? Not because people are lazy, and not because the ideas are bad. They just don't know what the next step is, so they give up. So that's what this channel is about. In plain, simple language, it explains how different things get created from zero, how you'd actually make your own drink, how a clothing brand gets started, how someone opens a store, how people really make money in things like crypto or investing, how products get made, how an ordinary idea turns into a real business. It's not a course, and there's nothing to sell you. No promises that you'll get rich, because honestly, most of these things are hard, and plenty of them fail. The point is simply to help you understand how it works. Even if you never do any of it yourself, you'll know what's actually going on behind the things you buy. Today's example is the drink. So let's say you really did want to make your own. Here's what actually happens, step by step. The first thing might surprise you. The smartest move is to not rush into producing the drink yet. The most common way people lose money here is by producing thousands of cans before knowing if anyone wants them. So the careful version starts almost like a test. You make a simple one-page website using something like Shopify or Card, which are tools that let anyone put up a basic online storefront. You give your drink a name, a rough look, and a button that says something like "Notify me" or "Pre-order." Then you spend a small amount, maybe $300 to $1,000, running ads on Instagram or TikTok that point to that page, and you watch whether anyone clicks or signs up. You're not really selling anything yet. You're just checking whether complete strangers are actually interested before you risk any real money. If nobody clicks, that's disappointing, but it's far cheaper to find that out now. Let's say people do seem interested. Now, you need a real recipe, and here's the problem. The drink you mixed up at home isn't something a factory can actually make. A homemade drink might taste great today and go bad in a week. It might taste completely different when it's made in a giant batch instead of one glass. So you need a professional version, and that means hiring a specific kind of person most people don't know exists: a beverage formulator. That's simply someone whose whole job is creating drink recipes that taste the same every time, stay safe, last for months on a shelf, and are legal to sell. To find one, you'd search things like Beverage Formulator USA, Energy Drink Formulation Company, or Beverage Development Company. These are real businesses you can look up. A few examples to research, and I'm not endorsing any of them, just giving you real names: Flavorman in Louisville, Imbibe in Chicago, Power Brands, and Allen Flavors. They develop drinks for everyone from tiny startups to big name brands. Your first email to a company like that can be simple. Something like, "Hi, my name is, for example, Sam. I'm developing a new drink and I'm looking for help turning my idea into a real shelf-stable recipe. I'm imagining a lightly sweetened citrus flavor, lightly carbonated, in a 12-ounce can. Could you tell me whether this is something you work on, what your process and pricing look like, and what minimum batch size your recipe is designed for?" That's it. You're just starting a conversation in plain language. Getting a properly developed recipe out of that usually costs somewhere between $3,000 and $15,000 or more, depending on how complicated your ingredients are. During the process, the formulator sends you sample batches to taste, and you test and adjust it a few times until you're happy with the final version. Those samples are an important step because a flavor that sounds good as an idea doesn't always taste good in real life. While the recipe is being finished, two boring but very important things have to happen, and skipping them is how people get into legal trouble. The first is the label and the nutrition information. That little panel on the side of every drink, listing ingredients and amounts, follows strict rules. In the US, you'd search FDA Nutrition Facts Label Consultant and hire someone to make sure your label is correct and your wording is legal. You can't just print "boosts your energy and focus" and assume that's allowed. This review usually costs a few hundred to about $1,500. The second thing is shelf life testing, which means a lab checks how long your drink stays safe and tasty before it goes bad. This matters because your cans might sit in a warehouse and on a shelf for months. It usually costs from around $1,000 to several $1,000s, and here's the part that surprises people. Real shelf life testing takes real time, sometimes months, because you actually have to wait and see. Now, the big question: where does the drink actually get made? And here's the biggest surprise of all. You almost certainly will not build a factory. A real beverage plant costs millions. Instead, you hire an existing factory that already makes drinks for lots of different brands. That kind of factory is called a co-packer, which just means a factory you hire to make and package your drink for you under your own brand name. You hand over your recipe and they mix it, fill the cans or bottles, seal them, and box them up. In fact, a lot of the drinks lined up in that store fridge, including big names you'd instantly recognize, were made exactly this way, in shared factories, by a company whose name never appears on the label. The brand on the can and the place it was actually made are usually two completely different things. To find one, you'd search Beverage Co-Packer Energy Drinks USA, Canned Beverage Contract Manufacturer, or Private Label Drink Manufacturer. There are also directories that match brands with factories, like Partner Slate and BevSource, which are useful because finding a co-packer on your own is hard. Real co-packer names you can look into include Best Bev, Wildpack, and Meta Brand. Again, just examples to research. But here's the problem that stops a lot of people. Factories don't want to make small amounts. Setting up and cleaning a production line is expensive, so they set a minimum. This is called the MOQ, which means minimum order quantity, the smallest batch a factory agrees to make. For canned drinks, that minimum is often around 2,000 to 5,000 cases per flavor. A case is usually 24 cans, so that can mean roughly 50,000 to over 100,000 cans made at once. That's a huge amount of product you have to pay for before selling a single can. The good news is, some co-packers specialize in small pilot runs, like proto-packers, that will make just a couple of pallets so you can test first. A small run like that might cost a few thousand to around $10,000, while a standard first run at full minimum can easily be $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 or more. Two more things about money and timing. Co-packers usually want a deposit up front, often about half the total, before they make anything, and from the moment your recipe is approved, getting finished product in your hands typically takes about 8 to 12 weeks. So you pay early and then you wait. Then there's the can or bottle itself, which you buy separately. Most new drinks use aluminum cans, though some use bottles, and the same basic logic applies. With cans, you've got two options. Printed cans, where your design is printed right onto the metal, look the best, but they usually require ordering a full truckload, which is well over 100,000 cans. Way too many to start. The cheaper option is bright cans, which are just blank silver cans, combined with a shrink sleeve, which is a printed plastic label that wraps the whole can and is heated, so it shrinks tight around it. Shrink sleeves let you order much smaller amounts, sometimes as low as a half pallet, around 4,000 cans. You'd search aluminum can supplier small run, bright cans shrink sleeve, or blank aluminum cans beverage, and look at suppliers like CanSource, Ball Corporation, or Saxco. Budget vary roughly a couple thousand to $8,000 for cans and labels at small scale, on top of ingredients and the factory's fee. Your drink also has to look good, because on a shelf full of options, the look of the can is often the only thing that makes someone pick yours. You'd search CPG Packaging Designer. CPG just means consumer packaged goods, which is the term for everyday physical products you buy in stores. A freelance designer might do a logo and can design for around $500 to $3,000. An agency costs much more. For a first launch, a clean freelance design is usually enough. Once you've picked a co-packer, your first email to them is similar to the formulator one, just focused on the practical stuff. Hi, I'm launching a new drink and I have a finished shelf-stable recipe ready for production. I'm looking for a co-packer who can make a 12-ounce canned, lightly carbonated drink. Could you share your minimum order quantity, your price per case, your typical lead time, whether you can help source cans and ingredients, and what deposit you require to get started? Those 4 things, minimum order, price, lead time, and deposit, basically tell you straight away whether you can even afford to work with them. So now your drinks are made and boxed up. Where do they go and how do they reach people? They need to be stored somewhere, which is just warehouse space, maybe $100 to a few $100s a month to start. If you sell online directly to customers, you use a fulfillment company, also called a 3PL, which is a warehouse that stores your product and ships out individual orders when someone buys. You'd search beverage fulfillment 3PL or Shopify fulfillment beverage brand. But here's a real problem with selling drinks online. Shipping is expensive, drinks are heavy, and mailing a single 12-pack can cost $10 to $20 or more, which can leave you with almost no profit on the drink itself. A lot of brands actually lose money on online sales and use them mainly to build an audience, not to make real money. Which is why most drinks really live in physical stores, and getting into stores brings in a few more people you've probably never thought about. A distributor is a company with trucks and warehouses that takes your product and delivers it to lots of shops. A retail broker is a person or company that already knows store buyers and helps you get meetings in exchange for a fee or a cut. The big distributors you'll eventually hear about, like UNFI and KEHE, mostly work with brands that are already selling well, so at the start you usually do it yourself, walking into local independent shops, gyms, and convenience stores yourself and asking them to carry a few cases. And here's something most shoppers never know. Big chains often charge a slotting fee, which is basically rent to put your product on their shelf, and it can run from hundreds to thousands of dollars per product. Small independent stores usually don't charge it, which is another reason new brands start local. Then comes the part that really decides everything. People have to actually try the drink and buy it again. Stores track how fast each product sells, and if yours just sits there, they pull it and give the space to something that sells better. So brands spend on sampling, which is literally handing out free cans at events and gyms, and on influencer marketing, which means paying or gifting social media creators to post about it. This can cost anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s for a small marketing campaign, and none of it is guaranteed to work. You can do everything right and still have people try it once and never come back. Let's look at some rough numbers for the whole thing, keeping in mind these vary a lot depending on can size, whether it's carbonated, the ingredients, the minimum order, which factory you use, and how much you spend on marketing. A bare minimum serious test with a small pilot run, blank cans with sleeves, a freelance design, selling mostly online and locally, is usually somewhere around $10,000 to $25,000. A more realistic small launch with a proper recipe, a compliant label, a standard production run, decent design, and some marketing is more like $30,000 to $75,000, and a more professional launch with full development, a bigger run, agency branding, a broker or distributor, real marketing, and slotting fees easily reaches $100,000 to $250,000 or more. You also need to hear what usually goes wrong, because most drink brands fail, and usually for ordinary, boring reasons. Your recipe can taste great as a small sample and come out wrong in a huge batch. The factory's minimum order can simply be more than you can afford. Your cans can arrive weeks late and ruin your launch timing. Your label can have a compliance mistake that forces you to relabel everything or take it off the shelves. Your drink can have poor shelf life and start going flat before it sells. Shipping costs can take all your profit. Stores can just say no. Customers can try it once and never buy again. Influencer posts can get likes but produce zero sales. And in the worst common case, your first batch can literally expire on the shelf before you sell it all, leaving you with pallets of product you already paid for and can't sell. None of these mean you did something stupid. They're just the normal ways a business like this fails when it has high upfront costs and very little profit on each can. So who is this actually a reasonable idea for? Honestly, it suits a fairly specific kind of person, someone who has some money they can genuinely afford to lose, because a lot of first attempts don't work. Someone patient who's okay waiting months and doing slow, boring work. Someone willing to do the boring, repetitive parts, especially sales, driving around to stores, handing out samples, chasing people who don't reply. And it helps a lot if you already have some advantage, an audience, a connection to a store or a gym, a genuinely different product, or a community that already trusts you. People in that position have a real chance. And who should probably not try this? If you're hoping for fast or easy money, this isn't it. If the upfront cost is money you actually need and can't afford to lose, that's a serious reason to stop. If you love the idea of having a drink brand but hate the thought of doing sales, logistics, and paperwork for months, that's worth being honest with yourself about, because that hard, repetitive work is most of the actual job. There's no shame in deciding it's not for you. Knowing that before spending the money is a good thing, not a failure. Quick note if you're watching from Canada, the UK, or Australia, the process is basically the same. The same kinds of people and companies exist. What changes is the regulator, since your food safety rules aren't the US FDA, and the names of your local suppliers and distributors. The overall process is the same, only the local rules and the names of the companies are different. So let's go back to you, standing at that fridge with your favorite drink in your hand. Before it looked like it just appeared out of nowhere. Now you know it didn't. Behind it is a specific series of steps, an idea, then testing whether anyone wants it, then a real recipe from a formulator, then a legal label, then a factory you don't own making and packaging it, then storage, then getting it into stores and online, and finally, the part that decides everything, customers coming back and buying it again. You may never make your own drink. Most people won't, and that's completely fine. But now, instead of a vague idea that disappears the moment you start thinking about it, you actually understand how it starts, who's involved, where the money goes, and what can stop it. And that understanding, even if you never use it, is the whole point of this video and of this channel.